Welcome to San Miguel TV. This is San Miguel here with a special. It's just a regular live. Nothing special here. Um, did want to touch base with some of y'all, man. I mean, even if nobody's on right now, I hope y'all get to see this later. I'm gonna be doing more videos soon. I'm going back to the editing, which is something I really enjoy doing. I get to be more, I guess, artistic when I do that. Haven't been going live. Don't know if I'm going to be going live like I used to. I do appreciate communicating directly with my audience and, getting people to come on and just give their 2 cents live. I enjoy that for sure. But I enjoy the editing videos a lot more. And as you can see, my channel has been focused a lot lately on crime going on in the, inner city. Black community mainly, Hispanic community also. Um, and for people that don't appreciate, that don't like that, because it's people that straight up, perceive this as, oh, you're just trying to, down, put down the black man and black people, and you secretly hate black people. That's what somebody told me. A good friend of mine who's in the cult, ICGJC Black Nationalist cult with me, has really hate black people because I wouldn't agree with him on a certain topic dealing with race and racism. You know, um, it's really frustrating when you're trying to make a point and people, want to assume bad intentions on your part, which is that kind of destroys your whole point. And now people don't want to listen, so that's not good. Um, I want people to listen to my point and watch my channel because I think I have something to say. I always think that I did. Definitely have a good experience with this black nationalism and how certain manipulation, psychological manipulation, is used in the black community at different levels. And it happens more often than I originally perceived. At first, I thought this was more of a Hebrew Israelite thing or just a Hebrew Israelite thing. Now I understand that it's a lot more than that. It's deeper than what I first thought. You know. Um, yeah, I'm gonna keep the light off. Yeah. So don't want people to get the wrong idea of what I'm doing here. Why I keep tabs and inform people and make these videos that are showing what's happening in the black community. Because I mean, in our country, we are experiencing um, pretty much a hike in crime throughout the entire country in all communities, especially in the black community. So this is where my focus is right now. There is a distraction. This race thing is a distraction. Now, focusing on the distraction by telling people that this is not, the most important thing, or this is not even an issue, is I guess it could be perceived as a distraction because I've had a few people tell me that recently, how this is all just a distraction for other things. But I beg to differ. I beg to differ on that. I think that focusing on these issues takes away from the distraction, or one of the distractions at least, which I believe is focusing on uprooting our legal system and dismantling the police departments and all these things that they're trying to do in the community that is not beneficial. It's actually going to hurt the community even more. So this is why it's not a distraction. It's important to realize, what's happening out here with in the Western world, right here in America. It's a small part of the world. There are big things happening worldwide, for sure. Um, and I'm focusing on where I'm at and, what affects my audience mainly. I have audience that's worldwide too. So, I want to focus more on worldwide issues for sure. But, these issues go on worldwide anyways. We pointed out here in this country, you can kind of see where it's happening in other places because it is. This thing is happening all around the world. Why are people so focused on trying to uproot our legal system, our police department, and things that, affect us directly, the community directly? It's putting people against each other. It's dividing this country even more. We're already divided now. It's being pushed in a way where, those divisions are getting pushed even further. People are getting further politically to the left. People are also getting further politically to the right. People are getting more religious. That's another thing. People are becoming more religious. Um, without religion, people still find something to put up in their life as, something that's very valuable or something to focus on, like a religion. My what I follow is logic, reason. That's my religion. I want to follow truth. If I see a lie being perpetuated, I want to call it out for what it is and expose it. And yeah, so I recently had a conversation. I was trying to get the brother of a man that was shot by the Minneapolis Police Department, who is also a former ICGJC cult member in Minneapolis. I wanted to get him on my channel. Been talking to him for a while. I was referred to him by my good friend William Kreider, who I had on my channel, the Black Atheist. And yeah, he told me about this brother. He was like, yo, his brother was shot by Minneapolis police. Maybe you should talk to him or something. So I was like, hell yeah, I want to get him on my channel. I told him, from the jump, I'm like, yo, listen, we don't agree on a lot of these things. I explained to him why. I gave him some information, and this brother was like, it's all love, whatever. Yeah, we don't agree, but, he made his point. I made my point. We had a great first conversation where he ended it saying, yo, I got to do my research dealing with you, telling me like, like this, I know my shit. So let me get prepared for this live because I don't want to look stupid. Eventually, in Minneapolis, there was somebody named Amir Locke who was shot, right, on a couch by the police, Minneapolis police. Amir Locke was a black man who was armed, who had just woke up as the cops were serving a legal warrant. And this was not the guy on the warrant, but he was there when the police entered, and he pulled a gun. That's all you need to know to figure out whether the cops shot him justifiably. Did he have a gun? Did he pull it with the intent? We don't know. We don't even have to know the intent. That's one of the hardest things to prove. That's what people try to argue, that his intent was not to shoot it. Well, you don't know that, and the cops don't know that. So legally, we give these cops the right to protect their lives by shooting first. It's called immunity, and that's our legal system. If you want to understand why certain things are legal and certain things are justified, why cops get off, why cops get away with doing certain things, you got to learn the law. You got to learn the law. You can't just be out here mad. You just want to be out here mad and you don't understand the legal system. Well, you need a benchmark to understand why it's justified. It's justified based on blah, blah, blah. If you don't know the law, you're not going to have a good response. You're not thinking now. You're going by emotions. So, that's, I don't think that chat is going to happen. I don't think I'm going to be able to get this dude on my live, which is okay. I'm all right with that. It would have been fun to see opposing views about this topic that I've been talking about actually, talk about what they believe and why they believe what they believe. There's reasons that people feel are good reasons for what they believe, why they believe. I understand the whole police, against black people and, F the police. I get all of that, man. Like, I understand that, and yes, there's order and there's chaos. Police represent order. You can't have too much order because now, there's just, it's like a police state or a monopoly or a dictatorship where, the police are running everything, and we don't want that. but we also don't want too much chaos to where we don't need no police. And it's just, and that's where I think the black community and Hispanics and people, a lot of people out there that I'm in contact with, that I talk to, are going towards that direction where, they want that chaos. They don't want that order. They don't want police all up in our business. You know, which I'm not totally against it. Getting police, to changing some laws to where police aren't all up in our neighborhoods all the time over petty shit that leads to other arrests. Which is usually what happens. But yeah, like that's a whole other conversation. Hopefully, I can get somebody on to talk about that with somebody intelligent. But yeah, man, there's a lot of issues out here. There's a lot of distractions. Um, One of the main issues that I see happening out here is people are getting behind these movements of being an activist, or they want to be protesting and be out in the street, causing a lot of this rioting and just chaotic behavior that I don't know, it's like a spirit going on around here where chaos is like ruling, and that order is not really being you know um it's not being pushed. Nobody wants any order right now. People want to take the damn system down and take down the patriarchy. I've seen bumper stickers. This is the feminism side of it, because those are other activists. They protest too. Take down the patriarchy, and it's almost like take down the system. And it's very similar to this whole spirit of chaotic behavior, where you want to just take down everything by the root and just, I don't know, rebuild and start a whole new system. And where women and people of color get an opportunity as if they don't already. So there's a lot of lies. There's a lot of over exaggeration. Sometimes there's some truth behind it, and it gets twisted into a lie. There's some kernels of truth in some of these things. Like I believe there's in religion, and even with these extreme cults, there's some kernels of truth that you'll find, and it gets used to over exaggerate and push a certain agenda or narrative. It's kind of like with comedy. Like I watch Dave Chappelle. The Chappelle show over exaggerates some of the racism in this country for the purpose of comedy. For comedic purposes. It gets over exaggerated, and it's like that's not really what's happening, but it's comedy. And I think a lot of people, people of color, they love that Chappelle show, and they hear this stuff and they believe it's really like that, maybe. And it's like, and I understand that there's maybe elements of that, especially in history, but it's being used as satire, over exaggeration, for comedic purposes. And it's like now people actually literally believe that. First of all, this is a black man making these jokes about victimhood in the United States, and he's probably the highest paid comedian in the world right now, Dave Chappelle. All right. An argument I had with a good brother of mine, which I was talking about, which he was trying to show me that there is racism in the NFL with the team owners. And I'm trying to show him that, I don't see it unless there's some evidence for it. Then okay, I'll believe you. So I'm not saying that there's not, racism in the NFL. There's definitely a history of it, but he was trying to tell me that there's not enough black owners, and that's due to racism. So my thing is, well, can we prove that it's due to racism? You might be right. That it might be because of racism. I don't know. I don't know any, we're not privy to some of that information. It might not be known like that. The person that got discriminated might not even know. I've said that before. I probably got discriminated on for being Hispanic, and I don't even know about it. There's issues, there's things that happen like that where you're not going to know that, the reason why this happened is because of racism. So I'm not saying it's not racism. Like, I'm sure there's some element of racism in the NFL, but they're letting players in, man. If they were really racist, they wouldn't let these players play. And you see that over 60% or 55% of the NFL players are people of color. They're black. And they make more than the coaches, which is another point I wanted to make against that whole owner thing, or, the coaches. My bad. It's not the owners, it's the coaches. Owners can be explained in different ways. But, okay, now with the coaches, why are there not enough black coaches in the NFL for these teams? Well, maybe, do you have a percentage of the people that's applying for these positions? So we can see, okay, there's this many black people applying for the coaching positions, and, they're not getting hired. People go for different things because of different reasons, based on your gender, your race. You might be attracted to different things, and you are not going to be attracted to other things. Doesn't necessarily mean that there's discrimination just because you have, for example, nurses are like 90 or 85% women. Does that mean that men are being discriminated for that position? No. Just because you find a disparity doesn't mean that there's automatic discrimination. That disparity is due to discrimination. That's what happens with the gender pay gap, with everything out here, man. They conclude that it's racism. You don't need evidence because you have a worldview, and it's just you can just assume it. So it confirms what you already believe about the world also. And it's like that is your evidence. Like, you don't need evidence for the evidence because you take the results as evidence, which is not. That's not how it works. It's called the God of the Gaps fallacy, and it's being used, and it's actually something called the racism of the gaps fallacy. So this has become such an issue where people are using these gaps to fill it in with racism, and it's just like, we don't know that for sure. Let's try to figure it out. I'm not ruling out racism. I'm not ruling it out as a factor, but we need to know, how big of a factor is it? Is it just racism? Is there something else involved? So yeah, man, I just think differently now. There's a lot of people that leave these cults. A lot of my viewers are, former cult members or current cult members, but they don't leave that way of thinking. They're still black Hebrew Israelites. They still see racism everywhere. That's the reason why you came in the cult in the first place, because you see racism everywhere with everything. And it's like, man, that's not the world we live in right now. Yeah, race is out there, and of course racism is used, and it's not completely, that's out there. But how big of an issue is it? How big of a factor is it? Is it really affecting these jobs when you got players that make more than the coaches? Like, and it's due to racism, but the players make more, and then you have way more players that are black than white. And consider the 13% population rate of black people, and you got almost 60% of the NFL players are black. So that shows you there's an overrepresentation of black people in the NFL. But you want to focus and nitpick on a small little part that deals with the coaches and say, this is racism. It's like, damn, you just want it all at that point. Like, you can't even appreciate the fact that black people are being overrepresented as players. And then you say, well, black people, the response to that was, well, black people are more athletic, and they want to get that money. So the coaches, the owners want to, they want to win. They want to get that money. Well, that's the answer then. The coaches want to win. So they're going to, the owners want to win. So they're going to hire coaches that they want to win, whatever race they are, man. Doesn't matter. So they do it with the players, where they don't care. The color that matters there is green. But now when it comes to the coaches, oh, no, it's racism, blah, blah, blah. Well, what happened to green being the most, the only color that matters? Now that don't matter? And oh, no, with the coaches is racism, but the players is not. It's like, no, man, you're not making sense. You're not being consistent with your arguments, and you want to see racism everywhere, even when it's not there, because it confirms your worldview. You might not have an answer. We don't have an answer for some of these things. There's not one answer for why, there's a disparity in race with the team coaches. There's probably different answers for that. Probably has something to do with nepotism or just hiring somebody that that's a friend, And usually when you have a white person, that's hiring, their friends are going to be predominantly white also. That's just how it works. So, you know, you have that happens with hiring. It's not always a discrimination. Sometimes it's just, I know this guy and I want to get him a job. He's my friend. And that, in a way, is a form of discrimination, but it's not based on race. You know, it's based on you knowing a person. You know, with family members, when you do that with family members, it's called nepotism. You hire somebody that you're related to just because you're related to them. You're giving them certain benefits just because they're your cousin. You know, that's called nepotism. So that shit happens. Everything is not race all the fucking goddamn time. You know, I wanted to bring out a story where there was a guy that owned a train that he was about his money. Same type of, you know, topic. He was about his money, and you know, he at that time they weren't allowing black people in the same train carts as white people. So he wasn't filling up his carts to the capacity that he could, so where he could make the most money that he could. So what did he do? He set it up to where now it was allowed to get black people and white people in the same trains. He set up a fake ass, you know, event where it was an arrest and they made a big deal and it was all staged. You know, it's some history behind that. I'm gonna look into that more. I forgot what it's called, something versus something, you know, but there's history on that. And the owner of the train, he was white. He was focused on money. He staged that with a black dude so that they can allow black people and white people to get in the same carts so that he can fill these carts to the capacity and he can make as much money as possible. So it's not about, like, people be more focused on money. And that's what we need to focus on, man. There's a lot of distractions out here. Get your money up, focus on your family, you know, so they can enjoy your money too. You know, because that's what it's all about, man. Nothing else fucking matters out here. You know, straight up. I just got Sat Turner's book in the mail. How to play the Quillifeth Baphomet game. You know, you can look into that. erapublications.org. It's a great book. You know, just want to shout that out. And, you know, stay tuned to my channel. I'm going to keep, you know, doing what I do. I'm going to make more videos where I'm editing. And, you know, just wanted to go live and reach out to my audience real quick. You know, y'all can catch this later, whatever. I got nothing but love for y'all. All right? I'm out, though. Peace.